which is a horror movie that came out this year. Yes, that came out this year. Um, I recently watched it on streaming, so I wanted to tell you guys what I thought about it, and we'll do a little review of the movie. Um, I saw this comicbook.com article that like weapons entire storyline explained in proper order. So when I like go through it, I'm gonna talk about it in like the order that the actual events happened, as opposed to the order of the movie. Got it, got it. Okay. So up first, the Aunt Gladys arrives in town. So, um, this mysterious Aunt Gladys arrives. There's a family, a mom and dad, a son, and Aunt Gladys is supposedly the mom's aunt, but the mom doesn't even really know Aunt Gladys well. She just is doing it because she knows that her mother will want her to help her. And they're under the impression that Aunt Gladys is very, very sick, which she is. She's very weak and fragile. And they believe that she isn't going to live for much longer. Yeah, we get to see Aunt Gladys with like no makeup, no wig, no nothing. And she looks very gaunt, very creepy. And we're experiencing all of this from Alex, who is the son's point of view. Yeah. So after a while, Aunt Gladys casts her spell on his parents, so Alex doesn't get picked up from school one day, and he walks home and his parents are like stuck zombie mode at the table, and he doesn't know what's happening, so he's like, Mom, Dad, hello, trying to get them to react, but they're not giving any reaction, they're just stuck. And Aunt Gladys kind of explains like she has them under a spell, they're under control. And she like wraps their hair around, I believe it's like a thorn of some sort, a rose thorn maybe, or some type of stick with thorns on it. She wraps their hair and snaps it, and they like take up the silverware and start harming themselves. And he's like yelling, stop, 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 all of this. But she doesn't stop. Initially, she lets it go a little bit, and then she throws her little snap twig thing into water, and they stop. But then Alex kind of understands, like, his parents are now in a trance, and they're now under the control of Aunt Gladys. Yeah. That was like kind of weird. But Alex just keeps living under that condition and like going to school, and it gets to a point where the aunt Axe is saying to Alex like she thought that the parents would be enough to heal her, to make her not sick, but they weren't enough. But what might be enough is if Alex can get something from every kid at his school. And if he can do that, then she'll release his parents. 2:17 a.m., all of the kids like rush out of their homes and they run to Aunt Gladys, and I think she's like feeding on them somehow, their energy or something. It's never fully explained in the movie, like what she's getting from them. I know she can control them, but I think she's like feeding some type of energy off of them or something. So all of the kids leave their homes, and then all the parents are in an uproar because they're like, what happened? All of our kids, all from one class, in the middle of the night just got up and left. And there's one dad, he's like really blaming the teacher of the class and saying that she had something to do with it, but she didn't have anything to do with it. And the whole town was just treating her pretty bad. Someone spray painted witch on her car. It was pretty crazy. On another storyline, there's these characters. The teacher knows a cop. That's how we get introduced to the cop. But this cop is like I'm getting that he's an F up at his job. He tries to bust some guy doing drugs. I don't know. He tries to bust some guy doing things, and he ends up tussling with him, and he ends up like hitting him unnecessarily and trying to be like, okay, we're even. I just better not see you over here anymore, right? So he goes off on his way. The guy goes off on his way. The guy is like a junkie, so he is like living in his tent. He's searching for things, for money to support his habit, and he goes to burglarize. So he goes in the house. He's looking around, and weirdly he sees these people that are just like stuck on the couch, not moving, like just stuck. And he gets too curious. He doesn't take that as a sign to get out of there. He goes and looks down in the basement, and he sees all of the kids that are missing, the 17 kids missing. And he like runs out of the house after that, and he tries to like, he wants to tell someone because he saw a poster that had like a $50,000 payout for information. So he's trying to see how he can get the payout for the information. In doing that, he tries to go to the police station, I guess, whatever, and that cop sees him and he like runs after him and all of that. And he's like, didn't I tell you to stay away from here? Yada 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 yada. And the junkie guy's like, oh, I know where those kids are. Like, I can show you where those kids are. Like, I know for real, for real. So they go to the house where the kids are, and he locks him up. Like, he handcuffs him and leaves him in the back of the car. And the cop goes in, and the cop stays in for a long time. And then when the cop comes out, he's in the trance, like he's zombified. So he like drags the boy out of the car and into the house. And I believe at this point, Aunt Gladys has now put her spell on like everybody. At the same time, the over-aggressive dad teams up with the teacher, and they end up at that same house, which apparently is the house that the one little boy Alex lived in. So they go in there, big hoorah, they find the kids. It all gets reversed because the little boy ends up getting the kids to attack Aunt Gladys. He like wraps her hair around stick and snaps it and all of that. Little Boy to the Rescue, Alex. Alex was clutch for that movie. Yeah, and that's how it ended. It kind of ended sad because like the kids were still messed up, and they were like, some of them just starting to talk. Like the kids that were in that trance were like really, really messed up. But that's my talk back of the Weapons movie. Overall, I liked it. I give it a solid 8 out of 10. I think that was a good movie, a good scary movie for the season. And Gladys was creepy. It was a little gory, but not too gory. And it had like a spooky ritual, witchy element to it as well. So yeah, overall, really good movie. I'm gonna actually give it a 8.5. Solid movie. Yeah, but with that being said, y'all, that is day 22 of the Mustard Mash Marathon. Don't forget to